Do you have a favorite memory from residency so far? This can be about the people or work or anything, whatever stands
Yeah.
out.
There was quite the spring baby boom in 2019. And so when I took my maternity leave with my son, there were a number of other residents, moms and dads, on parental leave at the same time. We threw a party for everybody pretty much when the babies would turn 28 days old and no longer needed an automatic lumbar puncture if they developed a fever. So it's just great to have that camaraderie with people who really understand what you're going through.
That is something you will only hear from doctors too.
Yeah.
I think my favorite memories are honestly just Block Ed. I think it's such a unique learning that we get to do. Formalize and teach us all of those important things we can't leave residency without learning. We have our kids, show up to the Block Ed. We have good food there. We go to happy hour afterwards. It's just this awesome time every other week where our entire program gets together to learn and kind of have fun. And
I don't have one memory that just comes to mind, but I really like getting to know people on night shifts. That when you have the quiet moments, it's almost like a slumber party with your coworkers, and sometimes you get really loopy, you start laughing, you just start getting hungry and making random things out of peanut butter and jelly or whatever you can, graham crackers, whatever you can find in the lounges. And I just I don't know, there's something really special about that we're all in this together. Night shifts are hard.
Intern retreat was really, just having time to just sled down a giant hill with your coworkers and have a day off from work.
And I will also say there was one, the second year, it was virtual, but we had a trivia night, and it still haunts me to this day that I was supposed to describe Ghostbusters. And instead of, saying, who are you going to call? And, team, guess, Ghostbusters, I try to describe it in all these weird ways. And it still haunts me because I'm a movie guy, and I'm like, why didn't I just say, who are you going to call?
Some of my favorite memories are both at the Harry Potter parties that our program director, Emily, hosts at her house. We usually get dressed up as different characters. I'm a Ravenclaw, 1,000,000%.
I met my best friends in residency, so that I can think of hundreds of memories that I've made with them. They're all standing up in my wedding, and so the fact that my friends are so close that they're coming to my wedding this winter is one thing to speak of. I recently went to a Pitbull concert with two of my co-residents and our program director, which is just so much fun. I've been cross-country skiing for the first time at Theodore Wirth, which I feel was part of my Minnesotan baptism or whatever you want to call it. Trying to just think of one is kind of hard.
I went to Tanzania, which was really cool because we have a really strong tie with Tanzania because Dr. Steve Swanson, who is a professor who was worked at Hennepin, is now over there. So going over there and then having someone who understood what we were coming from and also understood the system was really nice because we integrated immediately into it. The Tanzania side, almost as soon as we got there, we were part of the team. We carried patients with supervision. We talked about plans. It was really nice because I got to be a part of care in a different country.
I really enjoyed working with patients that communicate non-verbally and really started thinking about ways in which we could improve how providers interact with these patients. And so I came up with a project that was creating kind of some basic tips for providers around improving communication with patients who communicate non-verbally. I found a clinical mentor who was Mike Pitt, and we worked together, and I got to give a grand rounds as a resident, and then was able to get a publication in the American Journal of Pediatrics about our project. And it was a really meaningful experience, and I hope to continue working on thinking about provider communication as I go forward in my career.
Yeah, I think because there are some difficult situations, right? You work on stressful wards, for example, now I am on NICU, and that is stressful for the families. And there are some very tense situations. And you see that even in very tough situations, you can still find light. You see that in your patients when they heal progressively. And then also with your colleagues, sometimes it's easier to just de-stress when you make fun of
normal daily situations.
So some of the more difficult emotional experiences really stand out to me. And I think one of the reasons that they stand out is that I felt like I wasn't going through that alone. I was going through that with my colleagues in training and with the faculty who were with me on that particular rotation.
I love, going into work and seeing part of my kids in my patients, or, seeing development over time, and seeing how taking care of patients impacts the learning of the residents and students on the team. I mean, I think we wouldn't have our jobs without our patients, and they really bring joy and smiles to my day.
So when I was a resident, one of my mentors said, you have to pay attention to what makes you jump out of bed in the morning and hurry into the hospital. And once you figure that out, then you know where you belong. And it became really quickly apparent to me that what I love is teaching, and I love mentoring. As an associate program director and in the other roles that I have, I get to do those things, and it makes me really happy.
Yeah, I guess that's the nice part of medicine, the human interaction. Yeah.
Pediatrics is the best field of medicine, in my opinion. And I think, having a little bit of irreverence and quirkiness and, liking to joke with a kid about a cartoon or a favorite flavor of ice cream, I think I love that our residents bring that too, that they know when to be serious and they know when it's okay to have a little fun.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
Recording, but whenever you guys are ready, feel free.
Oh no!
Shoot, Erin, what is your title here? You should probably know.
I feel that Zoom does not do justice to either of our big talking personalities.
This is very hard.
The spot where I didn't know what your title was is going to end up in the video.
That's perfect.
We haven't said that you're going to officiate our wedding yet.
Oh, yeah. It'll look like conflict of interest.
Just the ability to see somebody at the beginning of their journey and being a pediatrician, and just all of the expertise and drive and compassion and humanism that people have from absolutely day one of internship, and to see that person who comes in with a wonderful skill set and readiness to care for kids and their families, and just see them when they graduate and go out into the world and do good work for kids and their families. It's just such a privilege, and I really value that partnership and working with the trainees along their careers. During this video, you heard some of our current residents talk about different things they've enjoyed in our residency program, including our class retreats and the annual Harry Potter party. One of the things we love about being a pediatrician is the opportunity to celebrate imagination and whimsy and have some fun. But we felt it was really important for us to make sure that everyone who is thinking about our program knows that our enjoyment of Harry Potter does not equate in any way to support or agreement of the hateful words by the author J.K. Rowling. The University of Minnesota does not support discriminatory or hateful speech in any shape or form, and we do not support the comments and opinions expressed by the author J.K. Rowling. We stand by the LGBTQ plus community, and if you, like our program, are committed to trans rights and supporting trans kids, we've included some information in the link to this video for both a local resource and a national resource that you could go to learn more about how to support trans kids and their families.